morning, afternoon. Say hi to everybody in the chat as well, or in the comments. Special one today to say hi to Kevin's Moother. Kevin's Moother. I don't mean that Kevin's Moother. I don't know, it could be. Are you Kevin's Moother? Scotsman in Tenerife's Moother? You might be. I get a lot of comments on the channel, which is just phenomenal. And with the stories that I tell over time, people come up with the ideas. And Kevin's Moother says, Rick, just buy a bar and then you can control everything. When I got that comment, it made me chuckle before I replied to it. But then I also screenshotted it because I thought this is an ideal time to explain, most probably, there's so many factors and implications to the reason why we don't actually have a bar. Do you think we've not considered it? That's the first one, really. But there's a load of things. A lot of people fail when they come and buy a bar, when they come to Tenerife, living the dream and thinking about buying the bar. This was pre-Brexit. I know it's going to be a lot harder now, but pre-Brexit, it was everybody's dream, wasn't it? Just to sell up in the UK, come over to Tenerife or come to the Canary Islands, open a bar and live happily ever after. But there's so many implicating factors that make it fail, and I don't think people take these things into account, and that's the reason, really, one of the things I wanted to do today, just to give you a bit of an explanation about why we have looked into it, we've studied it, and we've purposely chosen not to buy a bar. First of all, the implications of what can go wrong when you buy a bar. I've seen it since I've been here since I was 16. That works every day. See them. I've seen it since I was 16. I've seen the people who succeed and I've seen the people who have failed, but also the reason why they failed as well. First one of all is dead simple: drink the profits. When people come over to Tenerife and they live the dream, they think it's amazing, that's what they want to do, open the bar. And then I've seen so many of them come in, open the bar, this is my bar, and then sit at the end of the bar, and then they've drank the profits, drank themselves into oblivion, and before you know it, they've disappeared. The closest we ever came to a bar was about maybe a year ago, and it was a residence bar, so a residential complex. It was a bar on a residential complex, and it's actually here. It's at this place here. It was Yucca Park. We nearly set pen to paper. The thing about a residence bar, it's a Scotsman's pool bar now, inside Yucca Park, open to non-residents. That's the first thing. You've got this little sign here to try and get people to get through that door. That's the first issue that you've got. What's the purpose of buying a bar? Is obviously you're in a business that you want to succeed and you want to make money, but the money, the return on investment in this scenario is limited. The reason being it being a residence bar, because you get a lot of people living here, and it's trying to get Joe Public, who's walking down this street here, to get through those doors. Now, when I came to this place, and we got offered this place a year ago or so ago, my experience of working residence bars, because I used to live on Fairways on the Gulf del Sur with a residence bar, the hardest part is to get them through that door, and then the bar itself is actually really, really pretty. It's a really nice looking bar. You can see it over my shoulder there. It's empty at the moment. The biggest issue I had was at the time is when you put pen to paper to something, you are committing. There you go. Scotsman's Cool Bar this way. So trying to get you in. And I wish them all the luck in the world with it, I really do. But the reason why we decided not to was what happens one day when that door shuts. For security reasons, the residents say, no, we want that door closed. We put music on and the residents say, no, it's too loud. And then, because obviously if you did an entertainment bar, it would be for Shelley for singing. And that was the reason why, so we actually declined this one. We were very close to taking it, because everything was pointing in the right direction for us. The guy who owns the building, who owns the bar, because he owns a lot of bars, he was very much in favour of us taking it, because he wanted landlords in there that he knew he could trust, like ourselves. So it was a very close one, but we said no. A lot of people who do decide to come to Tenerife to try and open a bar, they don't know the implications of the laws over here. And the laws have been in place for maybe 30 years, but they've never really started to get enforced until maybe the last 5 years now, as Tenerife is bringing itself up into more of a modern country, in line with the rest of Spain. So, for instance, the biggest laws of all is the laws on music and sound, whereas 30 years ago everybody was playing music, everybody was having bands and etc. Now there's a stipulation of laws that you've got to have a music license. To generate a music license, you have to have the building soundproofed, so that you might notice a lot of small locales, local businesses with double doors. And the reason why they've got double doors is because after 10 o'clock, if they're going to have entertainment, they're supposed to shut all the doors, and just use the double doors, so it's a soundproof box. And that's the only way you'll get generated to a music license. And a lot of the businesses that you see don't have the double doors yet still play music. They're the ones that are in jeopardy of getting fined by the police, or getting in jeopardy of being shut down eventually by the police. The blatant flagrancy of laws. There's a bar on there was a very successful bar actually on Amadea Golf, and it was called St Andrews. And St Andrews was renowned for its entertainment on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday lunch, carveries, entertainment. They had acts on from 2 o'clock through till 7 o'clock, I think it was, so 2 till 3, 3 till 4, 4 till 5, etc. Compares, 150 people at a time were in there. It was an old bar that had been knocked down and been built up into a beautiful looking place. And then they put this awning on the back, and they had the entertainment on. And it was every Sunday they did it. And everybody knew it was just a matter of time before the bubble burst. Except the owners, I think, but everybody knew, because legally they weren't allowed. They had no music license. The big awning on the back, that was like a marquee tent, had no permission. So it was just a matter of time before the police came in and served it. What they then do is the governments, or the councils, they come in and go through a routine of like papers, fines, and eventually it comes shut down. And eventually you actually get the tape that goes across the doors. And when the tape goes across the doors, that's it, it's done. And that place to this day is still shut, because that time came about 6 months ago. And to this day, that's still shut, still done, gone. And it's weird because people have invested a lot of money in getting it to that standard and that level of, it was a nice place to go, nice place to sit, and it took a lot of time to get it to that level, but eventually it was gone, it was done, absolutely done. So flagrancy of the law in Tenerife happens a lot over here, but eventually, as always, you get caught up, and it's just a matter of time before you get caught, and then the fines get bigger and bigger. And it's before you know it, you're done for. So how's it possible for places like that to pop up, you might think? Because just out of nowhere comes a massive bar, 3, 4, about 6 locales with kitchen, with food, and it's all doing fantastic and doing successful. Well, it's really quite simple. The guy who owns that owns about 6 bars on the island. He's a big name. He also owns Sky Bar, so he's a big name on the island. And what he's done is he's just expanding his portfolio of bars. So it's not a one-off wonder when you think why that should be working. But he's obviously established on the island with a lot of people, and he knows his way through the council, because he brings a lot of money into the area. So things like that, there are success stories, but the people who are success stories are not normally the people that are fresh to the island. They're the people who've been on the island for a long time, and they do it, and they do it quite successfully then as well. And you're starting to see a lot more of that. So the other option then is this. So if I'm going to open a bar and I want an ideal location, let's say here, ideal location, I'm going to go up against that. What's going to stop people going into that bar and instead coming into mine? Because that competition, it's quite a tough competition, don't you think? To go up against something as big as that. You're going up against now conglomerates over here, and the conglomerates really, really work. And when you look at this sort of area here, see there's another one, there's 3 locales. The Mr. Sister Show Bar, that's 4 locales now, because they've got the Mr. Sister's Diner as well. And that is very, very successful. And it's a 24/7 operation really, but it's doing really, really well. So then when you start up again, how much money, capital do you need, or do you think you might need to go up against something as big as that? You're going to need a lot of money. You need a lot of money, a lot of influence. A hawk has just flown over my head. That's the Freebird catamaran behind me, right? They've got 3 boats now, because once again they started 30 years ago. And it's you've got to find something, you've got to have a different niche, I think, to be able to succeed. I think that's the big thing about it. We've got another store, we've got this one here. As you can see over my shoulder there, Diane's Bar. Diane's Bar is no more, it's no longer. It closed down about 2 weeks ago, and I was working in there, and I was working there on its final days, and it was pretty clear the moment I came in they were trying to put a show on at the front as if everything was okay and everything was normal, and everything was far from normal. They were having sound issues. As you can see, there's no double doors, it's just a locale with an awning down now, but you can see there was no double doors, so they had no music license. And then what happened every night is the Belgian Calypso cafe there, they got a bit fed up every single night of the acts coming in and turning the music up and blasting it with their entertainment. Diane's not being able to control it. After a lot of heated conversations, or nice words then turn to heated conversations, after that what happens is he just calls the police. He says, well, I'll just call the police in the end. So he took it too far and called the police. Then every single night down this road here, the police were coming up and down. The moment they heard noise, just shut them down, came in, closed them down. So the bar went from being, that was at the beginning of lockdown, that was one of the most busiest places to be when lockdown had just finished. All this area here at front, people were sat on the wall, people were drinking, it was a proper party place. Has gone from being that, but without the relevant paperwork, it's just gone less and less and less, and eventually, apparently, rumour has it, they've lost maybe 200 grand on that place. And that's from a little locale like that. So what can turn into what can start off as a fantastic dream, can pretty soon and pretty quickly turn into an absolute nightmare. It is a shame, but it's just a question of the writing's on the wall. The other reason why we decided not to do one was very simple. It's called ROI. It's a return on investment. I learned about ROI at a young age. It's like your gross, take off your costs, and you end up with your nets. Now what everybody says is when you open a bar, you've got your gross, obviously, and a lot of people just see the gross margin, and when they see the gross they think that's how much they've earned. They forget that they've actually got the staff costs coming off it. Staff costs over here are a nightmare, and you can't get all the staff anyway. Then you've got your stock costs to come off it, then you've got to your beer costs to come off it, your brewery costs, and then you've got your net, and you've got your taxes, etc. Now what they reckon is, from 100% gross on a bar, they reckon you're going to 30% net it. So that'll mean if your bar makes 100 grand, you're going to come out with 30 grand. That's what they reckon. So your ROI, your return on investment, is 30%. What me and Shelley do at this moment in time is the work that we do and the way we do it. The difference between our gross and our net, our ROI, is marginal, because we've got no overhead costs except fuel and taxes. You know, they're the only 2 things that we have really, and that's a fantastic opportunity of low risk business. I just did quick maths on the return on investment. I've not got the microphones in at the moment. So if you're going to be doing all those hours, how much do you think you should get paid for a month for doing those sort of hours? It's going to be a lot of hours that you're going to be doing, yeah? 4,000 euros? Would that be fair? 4,000 euros? So that's one person. Based on an ROI of 30%, that means to get 4,000 euros, you're going to have to earn 12,000 euros in a month. Because because 30% of 12,000 is 4. Divide that over a 4-week period, that's €3,000 a week. Now let's say you're going to take 1 day off. That means over 6 days you need to look at taking €3,000. That's €500 a day. Just on drink. It's a lot. But then, let's say me and Shelley both work it. We don't expect both to take 4,000 out. So what would be fair? 5,000, 5,500? It's a lot of money to be taken just on drink. So then you need a kitchen. The maths to us just didn't add up, and that's the reason why. So anyway, back to the vlog. Whereas if you imagine getting a wrong spot on a bar as well. There's another one. So this is where you want to be, but imagine just being on the wrong spot, just being around the corner on the back. There's so many reasons. There's so many times when you walk past the bar and you don't actually walk into it. And do you have a question why you're not walking into that particular bar? Yet you're heading for another one. It's bizarre. There's got to be a reason why you want to feel attracted to walk into one and not into another. I don't know what it is. But there we go. There's a party going on here with the boys. It's like somebody brought me body double with us. Didn't realise my body double was turning up today. I remember 20 years ago when I came over, first time round, I tried to go big. I tried to open a business, and I opened it up in Las Chafiras, and it was actually garden furniture. And I got 2 things wrong really. I got the location completely wrong. I went too big too soon, and I got the location wrong, and it ended up costing me 100 grand. And it was one of those ones. It was a bit of a pill to swallow, but it's a pill. It could have been a lot worse. Let's put it that way. I saw it and managed to get out very quickly, and at a cost of only 100 grand, where it could have been a lot more. So your location is vital. The amount of bars we've been offered that we look at and we go, it's just not the right place. It's just not the right place. And that's a major point as well. It's a real major point, is to trying to find the location. There's a lot of people. I say Lady Luck plays a lot in this. But we look at other people who own bars. We look at our friends who've got bars, and we see how hard they work. Because the final thing I was going to say to it, out of all of it, is your time. The time that you have to invest on a bar itself. If you want a bar to succeed over here, you need to work it yourself. 100% you need to work it yourself. And if you're thinking of a bar, what time's the bar stay open till? What, 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning? What time's it going to open from? 1 in the afternoon? Are you going to do food? Are you going to do breakfast? I think it's 9 in the morning. Then you're going to need chefs. You're going to cook it yourself. Are you going to front it? Who's fronting the house in it? So you see, the moment you're looking at all these little things, the cost spiraling goes up and up and up. And your time that gets involved when you're not at the bar is even more than when you are. And that's a really major point to think about, is how much your time is worth to you that you can spend in other areas. And I think that's a biggie. That's a massive one for me. So, Kevy's mover, that flippant sentence, if I took your advice down, what would happen is I'd most probably be a lot poorer. I'd most probably be going into an early grave. But hopefully, I just wanted to explain to you the reason why we didn't take a bar on in the first place. It's a great thought, and it's a great analogy of just, living the dream. It'd be amazing to do that. But when you look at it, and you look at it the way I've just tried to explain it, hopefully that gives you enough ideas on the reason why it's not a viable thing to do, really, more than anything else. I think that's the most important part. If you stayed this far, it is a bit of a niche one. So well done for sticking with us for this far. If you've stayed this far, well done for sticking with such a niche video. Write in the comments below, cocktail, which shows that you stayed this far to the end. And I'll give you a little like down there below as well. As always, thank you so much. If you want to subscribe, you know where we are. I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers guys, all the best.